all. My wife, when I was district governor, she said, you know, I really want to talk to your presidents. And I said, well, that'd be fine. I'll make you some time. She says, I'm really scared. I've never done this before. But anyway, I told her if you prepare properly, then your speech will be just fine. So she worked, and I've never seen anybody work so hard for a 20-minute speech in my life. But she did, and it came off just fine. And later on, she gave a speech to the president-elect training spouses. There was 280 of them there, including past President Cliff Dockerman and Mary Elena. And she said, have you ever got to the point where you're so nervous, your mouth gets so dry that you can't speak? And I said, no. And she said, well, you can. And she said, so I got to just kind of making hisses, and no words came out. Somebody saw I needed some water, so they handed it to me. She said, I tried to grab it, but my hand was so nervous, it took me 2 hands to get that water down. But now she's a very good speaker. She's developed into a very good speaker. She's not a Rotarian, but Rotary brought that to her. And Rotary's brought me a good bit of confidence in my personal development, not only in my speaking, but dealing with people and everything else. It's really come along a long ways. Next. Leadership development. Annie, were you real ready for this president's job?
Can you be real ready? What Dave McFadden helped us with,
Yes.
I would say somewhat more so than I thought I would be.
Did you go through RLI?
Yeah, he had like 3 extra.
It's really,
Yeah, he was great.
It's really good. Good. You do learn to be a better leader through Rotary. It just happens, and part of it isn't because you ask for it. It's because your people in your club need you to do something. They need you to take the lead on it. So you end up having to do it. You do it. It's not because you necessarily want to, but you learn, and you're glad that you did. Next. Citizenship in the community. How many of you automatically hear what's going on in your community? You know, particularly your local community. What's happening? Who in the neighborhood might need help? What's happening at your schools? Things that are going on in the community that maybe you can make a difference at if you don't hear it from a Rotary Club. It just happens. Things come in. People give a speech. Somebody in the club will hear that something needs doing in the community. They bring it to you. It makes you a better citizen of the community. Next one. Continuing education. I hope this is a little bit educational, but you have a lot of interesting programs that come in every week where people talk to you about things and you learn something new, and it expands your horizons and your visions of the world we live in. I went down to Dallas Uptown Club last Thursday, and they talked to us about the Trinity River Project. And it was kind of interesting. I didn't know about that. It's something big that's going to happen in Dallas. There's going to be a lot of changes. Now I know what they're going to do down there. And that's part of my continuing education. Next one. Fun. Sometimes it's at each other's expense. But we have a great time in our Rotary Club. Sometimes it's teasing each other. Sometimes it's just having a good time together. But we do have a good time in our Rotary Club. Next one. Public speaking skills. We've covered that already. Citizenship in the world. You know, it's interesting, and I mentioned earlier that anywhere I was in the world, I have friends. And I like to feel like, even though I'm very much, in particular, a Texan, I'm very proud of that. When I travel overseas, I wear the hat and the boots. I don't wear them around here, but I do over there. Because I want people to know I'm a Texan. But I've got friends from everywhere, and I feel like I am a citizen of the world, even though my part of the world is Texas. Assistance when traveling. Any of you made up outside of the country? Bill? Did you meet some people, learn some interesting stuff?
A lot of folks, and I was surprised the folks in Europe were like the upper echelon of the whole community. The people who had large businesses and big networks and very influential positions and they treat you like you're part of their family. So it was surprising to me that,
And in
well,
fact-
we take just about everyone who's got to get in hard, but other places don't seem to do it that way.
But in fact, we are part of their family. And that's a good feeling. Just a brief story, Sherry and I went over to Birmingham for the international convention. And we'd never been to England before, so we thought, well, you know, while we're flying over there, let's spend a couple of weeks and look around. And at the convention, we met a guy from a little town called Millom up in Cumbria in the northwest corner of England. And he said, what are you doing after the convention? We told him we were going to New York and then over to the Lake District. He said, I live close to the Lake District. He said, why don't you come over and spend a couple of nights at the house? Well, you know, we barely knew the guy, and we had a room booked, so we told him, you know, we already have a room booked. He says, well, what day are you going to be there? And I told him. He said, call me. He says, I'll show you around. So I called him on Tuesday night. He told me how to get over to his place and gave me the map coordinates because we had to get to the north and south to enter into the Garmin we rented to get around over there. And if you ever go to England, get one of those things. You can't travel without it. And we got to his house about 10 in the morning. He lives on a farm that was built in 1500, and it was kind of interesting. The farmhouse was built in 1500. It's been added on to ever since. But it was kind of interesting in a little town that you have to be going to get there because there's nothing past it and there's nothing on either side. You don't go through it to get anywhere. You just go to Millom to get to Millom. Well, he proceeded to spend from 10 till 10 in the morning till 10 after 10 at night entertaining Sherry and I. And he took us out to meet the district governor coming in for that district. He took us to a Rotary meeting about 30 miles away to Grange on Sands, and we got to meet those Rotarians. And then he proceeded to drive us up through the Lake District and through the Cumbrian Mountains that we'd never been to, on roads that we would never dare to drive on. And he spent the entire day with us to just show some Rotary friends around. That's pretty good assistance when you're traveling. Next one, entertainment. Entertainment. I can't resist the fact that mentioned that this Senior Follies is great entertainment. And I'd love to see you guys go as a club because it is a good time. It is honestly first-class entertainment. Just because the people are old doesn't mean they're amateurs. They're very professional, including 2 retired Vegas showgirls. And when you have them in a bodysuit, you know, if they're 20 feet away, they look really good. I am one of the old people, so I can say that. But you do get a lot of entertainment from Rotary. I find, by the way, one of the things I find about my Rotary Club, and I'm a morning club, but I find that meeting with my Rotarians gives me a whole different outlook on Wednesday during the day. I show up in the morning and I feel good about the day because I've had a breakfast with my very good friends. I think you guys can come in here and kind of decompress after a hard day's work. You know, we all go through the same thing in our work. We have personnel problems, we've got work problems, we've got sometimes money problems. We're all business people of sorts, and getting together with people in the same boat's a good thing. It doesn't have anything to do with entertainment, but it's entertaining to come here in any event. Developing the social skills. How about that? One of the things about Rotary is that it's kind of a requirement that you got to be nice. It does teach you social skills. It teaches you how to deal with volunteers. Teaches you how to deal with other people, and you know that may have